Hello lovelies, Rotting Jack Fox here. Sorry for not posting a lot today, even though I promised I'll post a lot of videos. I'm gonna continue my What If Deku was SCP-2295. And some people did try to give me a name for Deku's quirk, since I did not had a very good name for it. But the thing is, I did not explain Deku's quirk completely. So here's the full version of Deku's quirk. Basically, as I said beforehand, Deku can give life, technically, but he has to kind of drain something from it. Like drain unliving objects, because it was brought into the world, technically, and give a helping hand, like Pokemon, Eevee. But the thing is, I did not explain the backdraw of this quirk. The backdraw is it evolves with his emotions, mainly his anger. If Deku is in a fit of rage or is very angry at someone or at something that happened, he will morph his body into a terrifying creature. I have to. Basically, he looks like a Roscoe. I don't know how to say his name. From Hello Puppet, but without all the human hands and stitch marks all over. He just looks very terrifying with very sharp teeth, as well as the slit on his chest to his stomach. And since Deku and SCP-2295 are basically morphed together, instead of it looking kinda like Deku, it will have the SCP's look, but with sharp teeth across its mouth, as well as the slit to its chest to its stomach. So basically, it's a terrifying version of SCP-2295, which is terrifying. And the thing is, Deku is at the age where Bakugo bullies him because Deku is kind of younger than Bakugo. He didn't get his quirk yet. He got his quirk before he died. So I'm gonna continue with this. So basically, I'm gonna skip a few years. Deku has gone into school, but people do kind of bully him because he quote unquote on that, because there's two people. He looks like a teddy bear, and basically that's it. People bully him because he looks like a teddy bear. And the thing is, SCP-22 does wear small uniform, and it's adorable. Great, I'm having an image of a teddy bear wearing a small school uniform, and it's killing me. Oh no. And the thing is, Shigaraki, Dabi, and Toga do go at the exact same school as Deku now, since they are basically living with him. So that's a point. And the thing is, they don't go. They kind of. Yeah, they go to the exact same school as in canon for Deku. Or should. Oh yeah, I have to keep an eye on the timer. So basically, Deku does get bullied by some people because he looks like a teddy bear, and he's loved by other people because he's adorable. But one time, the bullying got way too out of hand, which caused Deku to have injury all over his body. Well, SCP-2295's body. As Deku does fly into a fit of rage because of the bullying caused his partner to get injured, as the SCP morphs into this terrifying stitch patch work of a bear, with rows and rows of sharp teeth in its mouth and in its stomach. And they just look horrified. The bullies look horrified because there's a terrifying beast. And the thing is, all of this happened, and Deku did grow up. He did got a little bit older, But the thing is, his spirit looks like a child, but his emotions and feelings, as well as his mind, got older. So he's an older spirit trapped inside a spirit's younger body, technically. Or no, he's grown up. So Deku is the epitome of good with a hint of evil. Because Deku has good intentions, but if he flies into a fit of rage or in so much anger that it controls him, he can become dangerous. Basically, if Deku gets into that fit of rage and turns into that, I'm gonna call it creature mode, because basically Deku acts like a wild animal in that form. But since SCP-2295 is there as well, he also gets like a boost of very much terrible energy, which is Deku's emotions. And it blinds them both from seeing the reality, and it causes them both to act on anger and rage. Basically, SCP-2295 pulls out like scissors, needles, and all that, and just starts slashing and slashing everywhere, as Deku is just biting and biting everywhere, because that's all he could do, as well as grabbing the claws on his hands, because basically SCP-2295 grew claws on hands and feet after if he goes into this state, and starts slashing and biting, as people did have to call the heroes to put Deku down on the ground, as Inko and his brothers and sisters were called on the scene, and they look in horror as, well, Inko was on her work, seeing this on the news, on the little corner TV, and she saw it as she said, okay, I have to get off of work early, boss, my son's in danger. As the boss said, okay, you could go. As his sister and his brothers watch from the classroom, they're like in another classroom, and they see Deku on the ground as they run down, as the teacher did try to stop them, but couldn't, as he looks on the floor and sees Deku. They look in horror as they see this monsterish version of Deku. And they're like horrified, but as well as terrified, because this thing is so terrifying that it makes you either you get paralyzed in fear, or you're so scared that you try to run and it chases you. And Deku's limbs are very flexible since there are fabric and stuffing, and that's it. As Deku does calm down from the fit of rage, as he slowly shrinks back into that normal, adorable face, as the rows of teeth slowly shut into a normal smile, as the stomach closes completely. And as the bear turns back into its normal state, into this cutesy wootsy exterior, they both pass out, because that thing does drain their energy like hell. So Deku and his partner are in the little room, but since they're both kind of like trapped in an animal, non-living object for Deku, it's kind of hard for them to check the vitals of this thing, because it doesn't have a heart. Well, it does have a heart. It doesn't have like a beating heart, kind of, as they think they might have lost him, as Deku wakes up the next day. They're literally ready to say, oh yeah, we lost him, I'm so sorry, miss. And yeah, that's a bit. I'm gonna skip to the day of UA, and Deku and his partner have been training. And the thing is, they heard of Recovery Girl in UA, and they want to be kind of like her, a rescue hero that is also involved in nursing. And since Deku and his partner are basically made for healing people, they think, oh yeah, we're gonna do good. But the thing is, they have to go through all of that, and kind of hard. So basically, I'm gonna skip into the day of when they go in. Deku's like walking in, and he's like really short, And the thing is, Dabi, Toga, and Shigaraki are taller than him, kind of the exact same size as their original counterparts. As Deku looks like he's a small version, and the thing is, he's up to Dabi's kneecap. That's how tall he is. But I think this SCP is like, oh wow, this is SCP. Okay, so in weight, length, and size, he's 37. Okay, so Deku is literally up to Dabi's or Shigaraki's up to their kneecaps, but mainly up to Shigaraki's, since Shigaraki is actually kind of smaller than Dabi. So Deku is like walking around with this adorable uniform. Other people are looking at this adorable bear like waddling around. It's kind of waddling since they have to kind of walk into a direction. I have to keep an eye on the timer, fuck. And they do the intelligence part of the exam perfectly. And now it's time for the practical exam. Or the physical, I don't know. I forgot it. I forgot the name. Fuck. So basically, Deku does get ready until he feels a hand like tapped on his shoulder. And the thing is, they are not on the bus to go into the level yet, as he turns around and sees Recover Girl. And the thing is, he slowly starts to fangirl out a bit, because Recover Girl is basically his idol, Deku's idol as well. Deku does not appreciate All Might, but appreciate Recovery Girl because of how Recovery Girl's quirk works, as well as how her skills in healing is. God damn it, I have to keep an eye on the fucking timer. Deku is like fangirling out as Recovery Girl does ask, do you want to be my assistant in nursing in UA? And Deku does pull out a pencil and paper and shows it to her, saying the word yes. As she said, okay, but you have to do this first. And Deku is like very happy that he's working with their idol, Recovery Girl. So Deku is like doing the physical, and he does pull out a pencil, like a pair of scissors out of his mouth, and Ito does like ask, why do you have a pair of scissors? That's dangerous, as he pulls out the pencil and paper again and writes down, it's part of my quirk, since his partner and Deku realize they have to lie about his partner's quirk powers, because it will freak out people if they figure out it's not a quirk. Talking too much. So Deku does get ready as he starts running when President Mike says, go, there's no timer in a real battle. As Deku starts running and does head inside of a robot and slit the wires, then jumping out after the robot explodes. And Deku's like running around, like kind of waddling, and he does have a bit of problem because he's fucking waddling. Oh, great. That's dandy. 13. Deku is running as fast as he can, getting enough points, getting 3-pointers, 2-pointers, and a lot more. So Deku is like draining the energy from these robots, since they were made, as well as they were touched. That sounds wrong. They were made by humans, so the fingerprints of those humans are still on them. So basically, he does drain the fingerprints off of the robots, keeping him with enough energy. So Deku is like running around, getting 3-pointers, 2-pointers, 1-pointers, until he gets to a good enough score that he's happy with. And so he starts helping out other people until he hears a scream. I'm gonna leave it off here, guys. This is gonna be a cliffhanger, sorry.